Subandhu, this is regarding our question about inherent risk, mitigated risk, and residual risk. Let's take it one by one. Others in the group may find it a little difficult to follow, but please keep listening to this. And once I am back from quarantine, we can discuss this in our classroom, in our office. So, Subandhu, now let's consider one plant. Okay, this is a fertilizer plant. Ammonia has been used. This is a tower T01. There's a vessel V01. Tower is having around 50 meter cube of hold up. It was initially a manual valve V01. There was a vessel which is like a de-inventoring vessel 5 meter cube, and a pump which is flowing at 1 meter cube per hour. Okay, I will break the video up and then we'll talk about it. This is the first video. So Subandhu, this is the second video, and about the same inherent risk, mitigated risk, and residual risk. We spoke about the operation plant. Now let's look at one guide word. What went wrong? There is more flow. Okay, let's look at our system, and we are looking at the system considering the tower, the valve, the de-inventoring vessel, and the pump, the whole thing. Okay, so guide word is more flow. What is causing a more flow is a manual valve V01 which is left open. It was a manual valve. The operator went and left open, and there is no operator now. So there is more flow, and as you know, this is 50 meter cube. It all flows down. The pump is only 1 meter cube, and therefore what can happen? There can be overpressurization of this vessel, leading to there could be consequence loss of containment from these flanges. And since it's ammonia, it kills one person. It floods the water reservoir close by, and the plant is shut down for 3 days. That is the consequence. We will continue. So now this is the third video. So we were talking the consequence of the leak. Kills one person, floods the water reservoir, and the plant is drowned. So then now what will come? We will come to severity. So we went to the guide word. We looked at the cause. We knew the consequence. And the severity, we have health and safety, environment, business outage, reputation of the company, and the overall. So here what, since it kills one or more person, the severity for health and safety is very high. So this is a very, very high. This is like a catastrophic severity since it kills a person. And what is the frequency of this happens? This can happen each time a manual valve is left open and there is no operator. This can happen frequently. So the risk is catastrophic according to our risk assessment metrics. With a severity of this classification, let's say 6, and a likelihood of A and B, we are of A and B according to the metrics, we are under catastrophic. So that is called the inherent risk. So we were saying inherent risk. So inherent risk is the risk emanating from a consequence considering there are no safeguards. So the risk, raw risk or inherent risk, is the risk due to a consequence that can happen due to a cause without any safeguards is called the inherent or the raw risk. Okay, so that is called the inherent or the raw risk. So this is our fifth video. So we talked about the raw or inherent risk. Now, so we know that the risk is catastrophic, and in our risk assessment metrics, what is happening? Whenever we have a catastrophic or a very high risk, we need to bring it to as low as reasonably practical, which is alarm. So here you must have seen there is some kind of a basic process element over here. So then what happens? The recommendation over here, or rather not a recommendation, this has a BPCS, a basic process control system, wherein a flow transmitter looks into the flow, and it has a timer such that after 5 seconds the flow transmitter will go and give an indication or an alarm to the operator to come and close it. Okay, so it gives an alarm to the operator to come and close it. Fine. So then what happens? let's look at the next video. So this is our sixth video. So what happens once we have a flow transmitter which after 5 seconds gives an alarm, the operator will come down and close it. So what happened now, it will not overpressurize the vessel. So it will not overpressurize the vessel. There could be, but still there could be leaks from these particular flanges, so the flanges are not tight, and when that happens the plant can go down. So ideally what we have, the severity now from a personnel being dead is more of environment and finance, and the likelihood from frequently has reduced. Why? Because it can only happen if the flanges are not tight enough. So it is likely but not as much as before. So the risk has now reduced from catastrophic or very high or high to medium. So the risk from a consequence considering the existing safeguards is called a mitigated risk. This is our sixth video. We are talking about the mitigated risk. So what happens now, we've given a barrier. Yes, so we are placing a barrier. There is a flow transmitter which after 5 seconds will give an alarm, and the operator will go down and close the valve. So there are limit switches for the valve, so when it closes, the DCS operator also understands. So what happens when the alarm happens, the DCS operator looks on the screen, he checks if an operator is going down and then closing it. So if he doesn't get a signal in DCS, it means that has not happened. So that is one layer of protection over here. So over there what happens, there is an existing barrier. The severity actually remains the same. Why? Because this has a probability of failure on demand. Maybe the alarm is there, both operators went together out, they were not available, or they were called up for some other activity. So which means what will happen, the severity still exists, however the likelihood reduces. Here it could happen each time a manual valve is opened. Here, since we have some alarms in place, the likelihood reduces, so the risk is now going to, let's say, a medium risk. Okay, for the matter of discussion, a medium risk. This is our seventh video. So we saw an inherent risk is the risk from a consequence without considering safeguard. A mitigated risk is risk from the consequence considering the safeguard. So that is a mitigated risk. Now, since we are still in the LR concept, still we are in the medium, let's see we can reduce it. So what are our recommendations? We are providing, provide a PSV for the vessel, increase the pumps from 2 working, out of 3, 2 is working. Sorry, I just drew 2 of them. So there are 3, 2 working, 1 on standby. Okay, so it's 3 into 100%, where 2 is working, 1 on standby. And we have increased the integrity of the particular basic process control system so that it will not fail so often. So these recommendations have been included. Okay, so once we have used the recommendations, a PSV has brought in, we have given more pumping rates, and we've increased the reliability of this particular process, and let's say we've improved the manpower. There is always a person here in place during this operation because it's a short time interval. So we've increased the barrier so much so that, let's say, once in future these recommendations are kept in place, can we have something which can kill a person? No. Why? Because we've got barriers in place which will ensure that this does not have a more flow. Whereas there could be, let's say, a plant down for 3 days cannot be possible, because since the person is always there, he can see if there is any leak and he will inform. So what happens? The risk now becomes low. Why? We will talk in the next video. Now this is our last video, hopefully. So what we are saying is that once these recommendations are in place, like said in the previous video, the risk becomes low because the severity from health and safety, environment, turn down of the operations because of a loss of containment all reduces, and the likelihood also reduces, and therefore it's low. So that is called the residual risk. So going back to the definition, raw risk or the inherent risk, risk without safeguards, mitigated risk, the risk with the existing safeguards, residual risk, the risk in future that can go down as part of the LR process once all the recommendations are in place, tested, verified, validated, commissioned, and then in operations and licensed to operate it, and we get the fitness of certificate. So that has an whole life cycle of itself. We will talk about it later. Thank you.